Episode 9, Part 2 of the Fit Pro podcast.
Okay, the world is changing, business is changing, fitness is changing, everything changes. And you need to be able to step out of your comfort zone and move into things that you've never done before to be better.
Welcome back, listeners. Before we get into the show, I just want to say a few words. Make sure you've listened to episode 9, the first part, before you listen to this one. It continues directly from that one. So if you listen to this one first, you will be lost. So make sure you listen to episode 9 first. That being said, if you liked episode 9, make sure you hit iTunes Fit Pro podcast page and leave us a review, or head to fitpropodcast.com, click on the episode that you like. There will be a button, and make it easy. Click the review button and it'll take you to the page to leave a review. That being said, enjoy the episode and I'll talk to you at the end.
And a lot of people also tend to eat the same thing all the time. You need to rotate your foods. Why? Because back before all this GMO crap, all the supermarkets, people didn't eat the same fruits year round. They ate what was harvested at that time. Your body is meant to eat different things at different times. So people who eat the same thing all the time, guess what? You will get an intolerance to that. And, a lot of food allergies, especially, because are from, eating the same types of proteins all the time. Bacteria and viruses are made of different types of protein strands. If you continually feed, let's say you continually feed, as a bodybuilder, chicken. If you continually feed yourself chicken, when you break it down in your body, it's a specific protein and amino acid strand. Well, if your body keeps getting hit with that same strand of protein and amino acid, it's going to think it's attacking it. That's why a lot of people, become intolerant to foods that they eat continuously over and over again. So you need to rotate your foods. That's huge. Let's see. A lot of people, and this is something I've been researching a lot lately, they are scared to eat fats. And fats are the all-encompassing macronutrient. They run your hormones. They run your heart. Your heart is one of the only muscles in the body that does not work off carbohydrates. It beats every second of every day. And what do you think it needs to run off of? Fats. Now, one thing I do want to, specifically talk to people about is make sure that your fat sources are organic. Okay, think about milk. Okay, so when a cow is fed and it's growing, etc., there are a couple ways for a human body or an animal body to get rid of toxins. And how do you do that? You either excrete it out, you sweat it out, you spit it out, you breathe it out. Okay. Say you're getting regular milk from a cow that's been given steroids, antibiotics, etc. Guess what? Your milk is going to have those things in them, and then you're going to drink it, and it's going to be in your body. You need to start eating your fat sources from organic sources because you don't want the antibiotics, the steroids, and the hormones in your system. That's huge, and a lot of people don't know that. I'm trying to think. What other things can I do very quickly?
Put you on the spot. Look, now you can actually just take your time, because this is going to be a masterclass, and it'd be great. Because after this, we're going into supplements.
Okay. The next thing I would like to talk about would probably be, in addition to the fructose, lactose, soy, and maltodextrin food intolerances, most of the allergies are dairy, peanuts, wheat, eggs, and shellfish. Now, the reason that most people have, as we get older and as new generations are born, why they are allergic to that is because we're changing the way that those things are grown. So the strands, the molecules of those are different. Our bodies are not used to processing them. So again, I'm big on organic sources, and I'm big on rotating foods.
Good.
Yep. Now, moving away from nutrition, what I want to specifically talk to people about is how many different factors go into evaluating what you can do to change your body. When someone comes to me and they want to change their body, I look at 7 different factors. The first being genetics. The second being any chemical toxins or their diet. Okay, that's huge. 3 being physical. Are you working out? Are you not working out, etc.? Religious. Do you have religious stressors? Do you go to church? Do you not? Do you feel guilty, etc.? Environmental issues. Do you not get enough sun? Are you not happy with where you live, your place of work? Number 6 would be economical. Do you have money? Are you happy with your job? Are you well educated? Number 7 would be your social status. Do you have a good family relationship? Do you have good friends? All of those things go into everything. And if a lot of people, and I draw a little circle and I make, kind of a pie chart. And a lot of people, it's, 90% work, 10%, friends. And you really need to balance out your life for things to really move in a positive way. So, and for instance, I'll give you an example. I had somebody come in to me and they're like, I want to compete. And I'm like, what do you do? She's like, well, I'm full-time in school. I have a full-time job and I have a 1-year-old daughter. And I told her to go because there's too much. There's too much stress. Eliminate the stresses in your life. If they are there, figure out why, get rid of them. So those are the 7 things I really look at: genetics, chemical toxins or diet, your physical aspect, your religion, your environment, and your economical and social kind of status. And I promise you, all those things go into changing your life and changing your body. So those are things that I think, if even for the regular person or personal trainer, if you look into your life and you see that all those things are not balanced, you might want to balance them out.
I've never heard it put that way. That's amazing. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. It's like a holistic approach to transformations, because you're right. I mean, if you don't have all those 7 things, then
if you're training and your nutrition 100% on point, but you're stressed out the wazoo and not sleeping, guess what? Your body's going to go nowhere.
Absolutely. So what's your, on the sleep subject, what is your recommended amount of sleep that you give your clients?
What's funny? And I literally just read a study that when they sleep deprived would be 5 hours of sleep or less, a population of males, that their insulin sensitivity went down 30 to 40%, which is huge. Yeah. Just on insulin sensitivity, you need sleep.
Yeah.
Need it. And trust me, and I've done long periods of time where I'm sleeping 5-6 hours a night, and guess what? I don't react well in the gym. I don't react well nutritionally. So you need to make time to sleep. I literally just had a client of mine, a prep client of mine, who we're trying to grow. She's trying to move from figure to physique, and she texted me the other day because I've been hounding her to get more sleep because she's so very busy. And she texted me and she said she finally got 7 hours of sleep and she had the best workout she's had in months. And I said, sleep is everything.
It definitely is. And that what people don't realize is that's your anabolic state.
Mm-hmm.
When you're sleeping, that's when everything happens.
Yep.
To repair the damage you've done during the day, as well as grow.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah,
and the insulin thing really hit home with me because but that's where a lot of my attention and education is going towards recently is the predisposition for a lot of people these days to be diabetic, type 2. And I really want to start down the road focusing on that and helping people get away from that. And the insulin sensitivity is huge. If you sleep more, your possibility of getting diabetes goes down 30-40%. Why? Because your insulin sensitivity is better. And that's men and women, young or old, anybody. So that's huge.
So it's huge. It's important, guys. Sleep. Get your sleep. And I know for someone like me, I mean, I'm driven, I'm motivated. I'm addicted to my work at the moment in the sense that it doesn't feel the time just disappears on me. And before I know it, again, I'm working 8 hours a day at my day job, and then I'll come home and I'll be up till 1 in the morning and then wake up at 6, and it catches up with you. And I mean, it's, again, if your body's your priority, you need to be which should be everybody's, you need to be focusing on the sleep side of things as well. I think it sort of gets swept under the rug a little bit and sort of excused, especially when you get the tough guys that are like, sleep is for when you're dead.
Oh, absolutely.
No.
The fitness generation these days is like, sleep when you're dead, work hard, work all day. And trust me, the people that are saying that, guarantee that they're sleeping a lot.
They're doing nothing but sleeping.
Absolutely.
That's it. All right, so on to the next one. Now, your go-to, you got 5 minutes, supplementation.
Supplementation. Okay, so supplements are, good Lord, so widely talked about, so widely researched. When I start with people, I give them basics. And when I say basics, I mean it's usually 5 things that have been researched to A, increase longevity, and B, increase overall health. So number 1 would be a multivitamin. And there is a lot of back and forth between that, whether it be a capsule, tablet, liquid, or whatever. Reason being is that the average diet these days is garbage. And you're not eating the amount of vegetables, meat, different types of fruits, etc., fats that you need to get all the little intricate micronutrients and macronutrients. And those are the big things. So I would suggest anyone get on a multivitamin, just because most likely you're not hitting all your bases when it comes to your diet. And that's why it's important. Number 2 would be fish oils. Fish oils are one of the only supplements that have been studied to increase longevity of life. And I could probably write a 10-page paper on the pros of it and how many things it does. We'll go over the basics. So fish oil actually helps increase your metabolism. It's been shown to increase your metabolism by up to 7%. It helps your cardiovascular system, your arterial walls. The pros from it are outstanding. And, a lot of people do say take fish oil. They don't take enough. The average dose would be 6 to 9 grams for most of my clients. And, when you see most people, they're doing about 3 grams a day. You need to up it a lot, and you'll see and start to feel a lot better. The EPA and DHA fatty acids really help with brain function, heart function. You will feel better, legitimately.
So you got your fish oil and krill oil. What's the difference?
Okay. In a perfect world, and the amount of time, like in the perfect world where I had enough money, I would take fish oils in the morning and krill oil at night. Reason being, fish oils are great for boosting metabolism and boosting brain function. Krill oils really come down to the more healthy aspect of it. So they help the arterial walls, they help the thinning of your blood. It's really good for your cardiovascular system. So like I said, in a perfect world, I take my fish oils in the morning and krill oil at night. But that's, and I don't want to get too into it because there's many articles about it. It's both are very healthy. However, I would say if you could choose one or the other, I would definitely do a good omega-3 fish oil with a high content of EPA DHA.
Beautiful.
Number 3 would be a probiotic. Now, recently there have been so many studies on gut bacteria and the microbiome. Now, before I bore you with a lot of medical jargon, everything starts in the gut. I don't care how much you eat or how little you eat. It's how much you absorb. Your gut bacteria needs to be on point, okay? If you have chronic diarrhea, if you're chronically bloated, if you can't digest well, if you have a lot of gas, your body is not processing food right. So that A means that your gut bacteria is off, and B, that you're not processing it well. You might be eating things that you're intolerant to, going back to the food allergy test. So I've done a lot of research lately on gut bacteria. Probiotics are huge. As a male and female, you should be on them all the time, and you should rotate them. You want different strands of probiotic. You always need to adapt and rotate, again, just like your foods. So kind of reverting, multivitamin, fish oils, probiotic. Number 4 would be magnesium. Good Lord, there's so many things to say about magnesium. It's involved in over 350 processes in your body. It is everywhere, intracellular, in your bloodstream, intramuscular. It's great. Okay. Most people don't even take it. One of the best things it does, it helps low-grade inflammation, and inflammation is one of the biggest leading factors to all chronic diseases. Second biggest thing it does, it actually helps regulate blood glucose. It helps activate the GLUT4 protein, which comes to the edge of your cell membrane and brings glucose out of your bloodstream into your cells. So it helps lower blood glucose. Magnesium is great. Usually what I do is I take magnesium glycinate. I like magnesium forms that are attached to amino acids. They're more easily bioavailable. So I take usually a couple hundred milligrams post-workout and pre-bed. Magnesium will also help you sleep. So it's something that I suggest to a lot of clients who can't sleep well. Take a decent dose before you go to bed.
It's very calming.
Mm-hmm. Number 5 would be vitamin D. Vitamin D should be considered a steroid. The pros from it are insane. Most people, and I have a lot of clients give me comprehensive blood tests. 90% of them are vitamin D deficient. So, why? We work in offices, we're in the basement watching TV, we don't spend time out in the sun anymore. Okay. Most abundant time to get sun here in the States from noon to 1. If I could do it every day, I would be out in the sun just hanging out every day, noon to 1. But
just tanning.
Just tanning. The benefits from vitamin D are numerous. It decreases depression, increases muscle mass, decreases visceral body fat, which is the fat that accumulates around your organs, which is very unhealthy. It's huge. And like I said, 90% of my clients are vitamin D deficient. So on average, I have most people take from 5,000 to 10,000 IU per day. Now, most people are like, oh, it's in my multivitamin. Okay, well, you're taking about 1,000 IU. You should be taking 10 times that. And I've seen dramatic results in literally just how someone feels mentally from the addition of vitamin D. So it's huge. Again, top 5 being multivitamin, fish oils, probiotic, magnesium, and vitamin D. Those are the basics. Those are the things that have been studied to lower chronic diseases, to increase overall health, and to increase longevity.
Masterclass. Straight up masterclass. Love it. And so we've covered your nutrition, we've covered your supplements, and one thing we haven't mentioned, what's your take on like your protein shakes, your creatine, those sort of supplements?
Okay. So I just read a study recently on creatine supplementation. A lot of athletes, non-weightlifters, athletes who take creatine before training usually tend to cramp up. Creatine has always been best studied and best resulted by taking post-workout, mainly because your stores are depleted and you need to reintroduce creatine into the system. Creatine monohydrate specifically, there's a lot of different types of creatine. I say stick to what's been researched. It's been researched for years and years and years, and it's the number one you can do. It's hard kind of attacking it with women because, well, I'm going to bloat. Well, no, you're not. You're probably bloating from what you're eating, which is crap, not the creatine. So creatine, I'm a huge fan of. Now, protein shakes. Big topic. Where in nature is protein shakes found? Like back when we didn't have supermarkets, could you walk to a tree and grab a protein shake?
Absolutely not.
No. Although they are great and they are packed with amino acids, I rarely use them. I try to have them maybe post-workout with clients. Use food. Your body will react to food so much better. And protein, because it has different parts of lactose in it and different things like that, a lot of maltodextrin. Most protein shakes have maltodextrin in them just to make them sweeter. A lot of people bloat off them. They think that they're gaining, size and muscle, where they're getting water retention, etc. It throws off the gut bacteria. Yes, they're a good exception for, let's say if you can't find anything to eat, I'll do a protein shake, but it's my last resort. So I will say my biggest thing to people would be to use real food. Okay, use things that we had back in the day when we didn't have supermarkets, or Quest protein bars or shakes, whatever. Use real things that weren't created in a lab. All right, your body will respond better. So like I said, I use them as a last resort, and maybe post-workout if I don't have time to eat a full whole food meal.
So whole foods, non-GMO, your body will love you for it.
Absolutely, and you will feel better.
And I read an article. I'm not sure if it's true or not. You can sort of clarify this for me. But when it comes to like your whey supplements and your protein, the earliest form of it was like your curds and whey of milk. That's how you could get it. And then I think the corporations didn't know what to do with all the whey, so they just basically powdered it and sold it to people, sold it to bodybuilders. Is there any truth to that?
Yes and no. So whey by itself is obviously separated from the lactose.
Yep.
And, a lot of people, they like that. However, like I said, whey is not normally found in nature. So yes, it's a way for companies to make money. And, as anything, the protein shake business is huge. And, it is a business at the end of the day. So they are trying to make money. I'll go away from that, and I'll say that in my experience and what I've researched, the best way to keep your body anabolic is not a protein shake after workouts. It would be some sort of free-form aminos. Free-form aminos have a more anabolic effect than protein shakes. It's already broken down, whereas your body has to break down whey into amino acids, whereas free-form aminos are already broken down, so it skips that process. And that's probably where I would say, and I have recently taken myself off all protein shakes, and now I just do free-form aminos.
Absolutely, man. And I think I'm exactly the same in that I've gone off protein shakes altogether myself, and I feel a hell of a lot better for it. And I haven't lost any muscle mass, or I've actually gotten stronger. And that's because I'm not relying on drinking a protein shake to fill in my calories. I'm eating food.
Yep.
And that leads on to another topic. There's the bro science side of things where you got to be eating a ridiculous amount of grams of protein. How much truth is there to that, and what would be the recommended?
Okay, now this is widely controversial, but
that's what we do here.
Yes.
Just controversial stuff.
I will say that, in my opinion, and this is also the opinion of medical professionals that have biopsied muscles pre and post workout and post meals, that the amount of protein you need per meal to stimulate an elevated level of amino acidemia in the blood is 20 grams of protein per meal.
Done.
Done.
That's it. He's not saying anything else. Just 20 grams. How many meals are you having a day?
I'm having 5 to 6 meals a day.
What do you recommend your clients?
Depends on their goals. But, let's say an average soccer mom that, is looking to get better doesn't need 6 meals a day. She needs, if she comes to me eating 3, I'm going to start her on 3, Yeah. And it's not complicated, really.
So what do you tell, again, I've got mixed results from it personally, but the guys that are sort of doing like your intermittent fasting or your warrior type diets where they're eating one meal a day and it's getting a ridiculous amount of calories, a ridiculous amount of grams of protein, carbs, and fats all in one meal. Mm-hmm. Is there science behind that, and can you still get results with obviously less amount of meals?
Okay. Intermittent fasting.
I hate that.
I know, it's hard. Woof. Is great. It's great for losing body fat. It's great for feeling better. Sometimes in the morning I'll wake up. My last meal, just say the night before, will be like 10 a.m. I'll wake up in the morning, 6 or 7. I'll get to work. I'll have coffee. I'll have water. And my first meal will be 10 a.m. I like to sometimes do that. I feel better. So intermittent fasting is a great way to help lose body fat. And usually when I suggest that to clients, what I'll have them do is when they get hungry, I'll have them have a BCAA shake of 10 grams. Reason being is at that dosage, you're not increasing blood glucose by an excessive amount of leucine. what you're doing is you're just increasing aminoacidemia, so your body is not eating muscle for energy. It's burning fat. But yeah, so I would suggest that intermittent fasting is a great way to do it, although, 12 to 16 hours being the kind of window to do it.
Yeah.
Anything less than 12 isn't really great, and anything more than 16 is a lot. So usually I have people do that 12 to 16 hours, and then I just kind of shift their meals toward later in the day. So if, a person usually has, say, 5 meals in a regular training day, on an off day, I'll have them intermittent fast, say till noon, and then I'll put 3 meals evenly spaced out for the rest of the day, and I've seen great results from that. The second thing you talked about was one massive meal. I'm not a fan of that, and why? Because of the amount of nutrients you're slamming into your body. Usually it's a decent amount of carbohydrates. Insulin is raised, and you have a pretty big insulin dump after the fact, unless you have a decent amount of good fat to help slow the digestion process. But I'm just not a fan of one major meal a day.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I can attest to, I am a product of intermittent fasting. I think that's how you say the word. But I basically, when I was a personal trainer, and it fits perfectly into the personal trainer lifestyle, because we used to train very early in the morning and then sort of have your coffee, have a BCA. And I mean, I'd only ever really start eating at lunch, maybe 10, 12 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I was effectively, with mixing like a flexible dieting approach, so like if it fits your macros, and intermittent fasting, able to stay at about 7 to 8% body fat for about 3 months, and I was happy. I was energetic. I wasn't sluggish. I was strong, and I loved it. Actually, you get amazing results from intermittent IF. We'll call it IF.
Yeah, you do tend to feel very good.
Yeah, and I think it goes against what, again, a lot of the bro science stuff, and that's why it's very much people are very hesitant.
Very taboo.
Yeah, exactly. What, you don't eat for 12 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sleeping 8 of those.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose my gains. Well, you're not.
No, you're not. No, you're not. All right. So moving on. This is definitely going to be a 2-part podcast. I love these because we can sort of get in depth, and you're putting on a class, so I love it too. Now, what's next for Spencer?
So next for me is, I'm going to start moving my main focus of competition prep and people who want a competition prep through Team Warrior Within, because the mindset of that team is great. It's a hardworking atmosphere, and it just draws people who are just very, very motivated. So I love working with people in that sense. Denali Fitness for me will be just kind of a reach to anyone and everyone who wants to educate themselves on how to be better, feel better, train better, eat better, the whole 9 yards. So I'll really be able to kind of encompass all potential people who want to either, have a specific goal, like say competition, or whether just want to get healthier, train better, look better, feel better with Denali.
Perfect. So that's moving forward. Mm-hmm. Now, what's your, again, as personal trainers, coach, you're very much goal focused, mindset focused. Over the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years, mm-hmm. what's happening? What's happening with Spencer? What's happening with Denali Fitness? Where are you going to be?
Denali Fitness is very much evolving. I already have my eyes on 2 very well educated, 2 very hardworking people that share my drive to educate themselves, be better, and to constantly evolve. And probably within the next year, I will hire them and bring them under the Denali kind of umbrella, and we will start to grow. And, that growth can be organic and it can be great. And I have big dreams, big aspirations for what that becomes and the amount of people we can reach and help.
So definitely watch the space, because some big things are coming from Denali Fitness.
Absolutely.
And coming from Spencer. Awesome, and I can't wait to watch it all happen. But as a fitness professional, what are some of the major resources that you use to be better than the average?
To be better than average, you really have to be patient and research. I use and search a lot of medical studies on training, nutrition, supplementation. Those I scour the web for them. Like I recently just read an in-depth article on the effects of training on testosterone, insulin growth factor, and cortisol from Iran, from a university in Iran, and it's just which was very good. It doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it's published, it's accepted, and it's got great research backing. I'm really looking for anything that I can learn from. So that really just takes kind of scouring, honestly. But there are a couple other people that I really do listen to and follow, and two of them would be Charles Poliquin and John Meadows. Both of them are very well known in the training portion and supplementation portion of fitness. The nutrition is very hit or miss. There's a lot of different ways to research nutrition. For me, I've just done a lot of my own research, and I tend to, like I said, look at a lot of medical studies on different foods and how they affect the human body. But those would be kind of my influences and people that I read from. And obviously, I don't take everything they say as gold, but it is usually great information.
Yeah, and I mean, if a few great people are saying it, again, there's got to be some truth to it.
Absolutely.
If you see the same things occurring over and over and over again, for example, again, probably not the best resource in the world, but like your Men's Health and Fitness, blah blah, they basically have the same articles in there over and over and over again, mixed in with fluff.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's differentiating between the fluff and the good stuff. Now, we live in a world where everything's clickbaity. Mm-hmm. Like you get the get an 8-pack in 10 days sort of thing.
Yes.
Type titles. What I found, and what is true, is that the people that have the information that matters don't do the clickbaity titles.
Absolutely.
The titles aren't flashy. They're not going to draw your attention because they're not going to promise you abs in 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be the ones that, again, factual. Probably like not the most entertaining reads, but you're going to get the information you're looking for.
Absolutely. And I think where people get caught up is, again, reverting back to earlier, they get caught up in the sexy aspect of fitness and nutrition. And, I'll tell you what, the people who are trying to be sexy and to be flashy, they're doing that for a reason, and that reason is capital and what they can gain from you as the consumer. So, usually the staples and the basics, they do work, and they're not sexy and they're not awesome, but do them and they do work.
Yeah. There's again a set amount of principles. There's the foundations that are always going to be the consistents, and that you will pick up. But off that, like, what are you listening to any podcasts at the moment, Spence?
Yes, actually, I do, and I listen to the Icon Health Performance podcast out of Australia, kind of your way, which is a great podcast. It's done by two guys that are very well educated. The other one is the Sigma Nutrition podcast, and both of these podcasts have people on them that are very well educated, very very informed, and it's great information. So if you're looking to increase your knowledge base, the Icon Health Performance podcast out of Australia and the Sigma Nutrition podcast.
Perfect. So Icon Health Performance podcast and Sigma Nutrition podcast. Mm-hmm. Again, I always love to recommend podcasts because that's my medium. That's what I do. I love them. Now, any books? Again, we want to give the listeners as many resources as they can to be motivated and inspired. And I think we've provided a shitload of value today. But is there any books, any sort of mentors, not physically like in front of you, but people you followed over time that have helped you a lot?
Yes, I will give you two books. One is very in-depth, and one is very life-related. Okay. The first one is Breaking the Metabolic Code. The author of the book is escaping me at the moment. It's a very, very, very in-depth read. Looks like a textbook, but it encompasses all aspects of different nutrition, different genetic makeups, different hormones, etc. And it took me a very, very long time to read, but it greatly enhanced my knowledge. And it is a great book. And that's the first that I would suggest for people who are looking to increase their knowledge base. The second is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And I've used this book and what it taught me, and I've found that it teaches everyone something different. I have used it in many aspects of life, and I find that approaching every aspect of life in a tactical sense will help you not only achieve your goals, but will help you make the least amount of mistakes.
It's actually very interesting that you brought that book up. That's one of my favorite books, The Art of War. And I don't know if people know this, but it's been translated into so many different categories. This one book, and it's a great book. I've actually got one of the quotes tattooed on me from the book. I've got, I am concentrated into one, he's divided, I am 10 to his one, many against his few. Now, that's from Sun Tzu's Art of War. It's one of my favorite quotes. And, yeah, that's awesome. That's interesting. That's the first time someone's recommended Sun Tzu's Art of War. So, yeah, I recommend it too. Absolutely.
Well, you can really apply it to anything you do in life.
Anything. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Now, is it Cracking the Metabolic Code?
Yes, Cracking the Metabolic Code.
Okay. It's by James B. Lavelle.
Yes. I believe he's a pharmacist. Very, very smart individual.
Yeah, he's got all those abbreviations next to his name. So
many qualifications.
Many qualifications. Awesome, Spence. Now, look, I think we've come to the end of our podcast today because, damn, we've gone over an hour. That's awesome. And what that means is just amazing content, amazing. It's an amazing podcast. Now, where can the listeners find you if they want to get a hold of you, Spencer? What are your social networks, and where can they contact you?
Okay, so right now, there's two ways you can contact me via Facebook. Just my first and last name, Spencer Posey. My business website or Facebook is Denali Fitness and Nutrition. 3 words. You can also email me. It's very, very simple. Spencer Posey, Posey, 25@gmail.com. And if you guys like Snapchat, I usually do educational Snapchats every day. So if you want to follow along, my username is SPENCE William 24. So Spence William 24. And I try to put out great information that's quickly and easily understood and accepted, and I tend to get great feedback off that. So you guys are welcome to follow me there.
Definitely, Snapchat is really good, guys. If you do anything from this podcast, add him on Snapchat because you'll get value for money, seeing as it's free. But you will get a lot of information, and again, you get to know Spence as a person. That's why I love Snapchat for that, because it gives people an inside look, especially for a podcast, especially for a business. It's a great tool.
Absolutely.
It is a great tool. And I never really thought that people would like to see the intricacies of what you do, but they want to. They want to. And the more you embrace Snapchat on that level, the ROI on that alone is amazing.
Absolutely.
Now, that's all we've got time for today or tonight. It's actually 11:39 p.m. on a Friday night for me. Anyway, in Australia, Spencer knows it's almost midday by you. Now, what I find, guys, is when we're doing what we're doing right now, when we're creating content and we're adding value, this is something that I didn't think I'd be doing a year ago. I didn't think I'd be up at 11:30 at night creating a podcast with an amazing individual and just creating amazing content. It's crazy how the world works, but I think as a fitness professional, you got to be willing to adapt, and you got to be willing to find and be aware of what you're good at.
Absolutely.
Now, and that's some of my best advice. Now, Spence, what is some of your best advice for people out there? Like just some closing words on the journey. What's the journey going to be like, and is it worth sticking to?
The journey is amazing. Whether that be a physical goal, a mental goal, whatever it is down the road. But also, you need to be able to adapt. Okay, the world is changing, business is changing, fitness is changing, everything changes. And you need to be able to step out of your comfort zone and move into things that you've never done before to be better. And just being able to, again, take risks, but calculate them. Go back to the art of war for that. And just like I said, be able to change, be able to adapt, and be able to move forward, whether you fail or not. Just be able to do that. Be open to that.
No such thing as negative experiences, just learning experiences.
Yes, sir.
And fail forward fast.
Yes, sir.
The 3 Fs. Perfect, Spence. Thank you so much for your time, man. I know you're a very busy man. We'll have to do this again sometime, for sure.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
For sure. I feel like there's a lot more we could touch on, and I feel like obviously you've got a lot more information in your head, so we want to get that out, and we want to get it out there. Now, guys, I've been doing this for a while. I still don't know how to end these podcasts, so I just end up saying bye. I just end up saying peace. Like, how do you close a podcast? Like, I don't know.
Maybe tune in next time.
Tune in next time. Yep, definitely. Tune in to the next episode, guys, every Tuesday and Friday. Thanks, Spence, for coming on, and peace.
Thank you for having me.
And I am back. Before I let you go, listeners, if you loved that episode, the two-part episode 9 and 9.2, as much as I did, and you loved the information that Spencer provided, I think you would be doing a public disservice if you didn't review this episode. So I made it really easy. I made it really, really easy. All you need to do is go to fitpropodcast.com, click on this episode, and there's a review button just underneath the audio player. And even if that's not easy enough, I rung up iTunes and I said, iTunes, I need a review button on my page, and they did it since day one. So it's there. If you haven't clicked subscribe to this podcast yet, you really need to. It makes it way easier. The episode, as soon as it's out, it gets downloaded and it's ready to go, so that when you jump in your car, it's there and all you got to do is press play. So click subscribe, as well as hit the review button. Let Spencer know that he dropped bombs tonight. And let me know that you like the sound of my voice. Now, I'm hoping you like the sound of my voice, because the next episode is episode 10, and episode 10 is a little bit of a milestone. You got your 10, your 100, your 1,000, your 10,000. So we've got episode 10, and what I decided is that every month from now on, at the end of the month, I will put a cap on each month. So I will be summarizing all the episodes that we've had. So it'll be a great episode to introduce your friends to the podcast. So I'll be summarizing all the episodes we've done, all the guests we've had on, what I've learned myself personally by doing it, because this is a learning process for sure, and what I'm doing a little bit differently from when I started, and the direction and a little bit of motivation from what I know as a trainer, and you can get to know me as the host a little bit better. I think it's very important that we get to know each other. So I'm going to force you to get to know me. That being said, listeners, we'll be back on Tuesday. So yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday, and that's when the next episode will go up, and that will be me. That will just be all me. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.